Today's March the 4th, 2024. We planted these potatoes a month and a day ago. As you can see by the vegetation, they're doing very well, and it's time to take them up to the next step. So just stay tuned, and I'll show you what we do next. Right, when we planted these potatoes, we started out with about 4 inches of soil, put our seed potatoes in, and then we filled up to a level of about 10 inches, which gave us about right here on the buckets, if you can see where my hand is. So what we're going to do now that we got the vegetation up past the rim, we're going to fill these up to about an inch above the rim. Now you're going to have some leaves at the bottom that may get covered up, and that's fine. It's not going to hurt the plant at all. We're just using what we're covering it up with is the same mixture: the potting soil, peat moss, and black cow, 3 equal parts. Plants are a little bit tender, so you want to be careful when you move those back. You don't want to bust your plants, break your plants rather. You just kind of gently move them back, and then you can put the soil in there. And what this does as the potatoes are growing, this keeps sunlight from penetrating and reaching the potatoes and causing them to turn green, which can turn them toxic. And you don't want to eat toxic potatoes. They're actually poison, can do a lot of harm to you. All right, we've got that one. We'll go put a little bit more in there. Let me get the camera if you can see that. See, we're about an inch and a half from the top. You just want to leave a little bit for a catch basin when you water. That way the water doesn't overflow. It stays in the bucket. Put the tag back in. These are actually Norland, excuse me. I always say Norland Reds, and they're doing pretty well. I get asked questions on how often do you water. There's just not a simple answer to that. Just depends on your environment, your region, what kind of soil they're in, et cetera, et cetera. A good rule of thumb: if you don't have any rain during the week, usually about an inch, about an inch of water per week, maybe inch and a half. Just let your plants talk to you. If the plants are green and healthy and they're not wilted like these are, they're fine. What I usually do is I'll just stick my finger in the soil and go down about knuckle deep, which is about an inch and a half deep. If it feels moist, usually enough water in there. If it's bone dry and the plants are starting a little wilty, just increase your watering. Just sort of a feel thing. There's just not a one answer for that. All right, we got all our buckets topped off. See, we got 8 buckets of potatoes growing. They're all doing really well. These 4 right here are the red Norlands, and these 4 here are the Yukon Gold. Red Norlands usually grow a little bit quicker and tend to be able to harvest a little bit faster. I got asked from one of our subscribers and a friend of mine. He wanted me to kind of do a little video on our raised beds and show those. He did just a little overview of our garden. You can see these 2 beds we have, the outside perimeter. There, we usually we do plant vegetables there and some flowers, and then we have these 2 front beds, uh, primarily just flowers go in there. Everything's sort of a mess right now. We're getting ready for spring planting. The vegetables you see in there now, we got some cabbage growing, cauliflower, a few carrots still left, and our onions are doing really well. We'll be harvesting those in about a month. But as far as the beds, we have 14 raised beds. They are every raised bed is Birdie's brand raised bed, which I'm very pleased with the exception of 4 of them there in the center. And I will give you a little close up of those. Now, these 4 raised beds right here, these 2 that have the onions in them that you're looking at, and then these 2 right here, I don't even remember the name brand of those. It's just a knockoff brand that I purchased from Amazon when we first transitioned from wood to metal raised beds. I didn't really know much about them, and I bought these. We've had them 2.5 years. They're actually holding up pretty good, with the exception they've kind of discolored a little bit, faded. You can see some of the panels. It looks like two different colors. I don't know if you can tell in the light. There's so much sunlight right now. But I'm certainly not going to throw them away just because of the aesthetics of them. But they're, as far as the metal, they're holding up pretty good. These right here, these round ones in this rectangle, well, it's actually a little more square. These are Birdie's raised beds, and this one here is a what they call a 5-in-1, and you can configure it different ways. And I'll show you one how we kind of configured a different way. And it is roughly, some of it's down in the ground. I think it's 15 feet tall. Excuse me, 15 inches tall, and it's about 4 feet long. You can see all that black tubing. We primarily water the raised bed garden with drip irrigation. Here's where we do have a well. We don't use city water for the garden. We do have a pump, and we have a timer, and you can kind of see the trunk line there, the main line. And if I had it to do over again, I would have all this buried, but this was an afterthought after the rock was already in. So we tried to move it to the back of the garden where it's not such an eyesore, and we're not tripping over it. But drip irrigation is the way to go. Looks a little complicated when you watch a video on it, but it's really simple once you learn what parts you need and how it all works together. It's just like putting Legos together. It's very simple and very cheap actually. So if you don't do drip irrigation, I would certainly recommend it. It's really a game changer for us. Now we do hand water. You can see there's a hose bib here. We have one back there by Barbie's shed, and then we have another one on this side of the garden. So if we do need supplemental water, we have an easy way to do it. And as far as the buckets, I do hand water those, so it's nice having the hoses. Some of these cabbages are a little small. We kind of was late planting cabbage, but Barbie does all the brassicas, the cabbages, cauliflower, can't think what they're called, broccoli, etc. That's sort of her thing. She does really well at it. But we're a little late planting this year, but they're doing okay. You can kind of give you an idea how big the head is. It's about a little bigger than a softball there. That one's a little smaller. Still got a ways to go. Now this one's pretty good here. Actually, this is ready to harvest. You can kind of see how big it is compared to my hand there. So. And that is cauliflower there, and then this bed is all cauliflower. And these are starting to head up, so these will be ready. Just guessing a couple of weeks. This bed's empty. We just got rid of what was in there, so we're getting ready to turn it for spring planting. We're just leaving that mulch on top right now, and then this one we didn't use this winter. So it's good to put cardboard or some type of covering over it so the sun's not just baking on your soil. And here are the Vidora onions. This is like a pancake looking onion, the flatty squatty ones, not like the softball size. I grew these last year and they did really well, and you can see they're starting to bulb up. So these will be ready in about a month, 4 to 5, 6 weeks, somewhere right around there. These are doing really well, and I forget how many's planted. I'm not going to count them right now. So I got 4. There's roughly about 36 onions in here, and these are a red onion called Sofire. They're both varieties are sweet onions, and you can see how this one's bulbing up as well. Never grew sweet onions. Looking forward to these because we're gonna pickle these, so hopefully they're gonna do really well. I had some left over, so we did a third bed, and left side over here is the Vidora, and then the right side over here is the Sofire. And here's an example of how we configured this bed. This bed here is the same as the first one I showed you as far as the square, and we just redid the panels. You can see where there's 3 panels right here. You can take one panel out, put it on the end to make it wider, and then you can have a long, narrow bed. This is Barbie's strawberry bed here. And we are not good at growing strawberries. These are blooming. There's actually a lot of weeds in there. It's kind of embarrassing to even show. But we're actually learning, and that's kind of on our list of trying to perfect. We have been been eating carrots out of this bed for a little over a month now and have shared many of them with family and friends. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest the rest of them. They need to come out of the ground. It's starting to warm up. We'll get them in the refrigerator and I'll bring you along, let you see. We'll see what we're going to get here. Look at that little carrot. That one just, I don't even know what to say about that. Sometimes with your carrots, you'll get a double like this. They'll put a little shoot on there. There's nothing wrong with them when they're like that. Obviously, in the grocery store, you probably wouldn't want to purchase that. But once you clean it up and cook them, there's nothing wrong with them. They eat just as good as the others. You see how pretty some of these yellow ones. These grew really good. How pretty those are. There's another little runt. You'll get some runts in the bunch. It happens. That's why you plant a lot of them. Here's some more deformed ones. Yeah. Some of these Ruby Pack, these did really good last year. They didn't get as big this year. I don't know what was going on. I think I missed a fertilizing schedule. That may have been part of it, but they did okay. Those are just some small ones there. That is that is all the carrots that we planted. All these were planted back in mid-October 2023, and we started harvesting around the end of January. All right, that's going to do it for today. I appreciate you watching. If you want to know how we plant bucket potatoes, just watch this video right here. It'll give you a general idea of how to do them. Once again, I'm not a master gardener. We're just backyard hobby gardeners. I don't have comprehensive uh, instructional videos. Just give you a general idea on how to do it. Appreciate you watching. Everyone have a blessed day.